in this video we'll talk about the rest part of the hip bone. In my previous video I already discussed the general aspect, anatomical position, anatomical holding of the hip bone. Okay, and today in this video we only discuss the attachment and bony feature of this pubis and this ischium bone. Okay, now before starting our topic, we'll take a short summary of the hip bone. Okay, so I already told you what is hip bone. Hip bone is a large, irregular, innominate type of bone, and this hip bone is formed by three parts. This upper large flank part is called the ilium. This anterior inferior part of this hip bone is called pubis, and this posterior inferior part of this hip bone is called ischium. And these three part of this hip bone unite at the level of at a hollow cup shaped part. This hollow cup shaped part is called acetabulum. Okay, you already know. Okay, now today our topic is pubis and ischium. Okay, so what is pubis? Pubis is a part of hip bone which is situated anterior-inferiorly. Okay, so this part is called pubis. Okay, when you see the pubis is a short part of hip bone, and it is anterior-posteriorly it is flattened. You can see here this pubis is anterior-posteriorly flattened, and it has anterior-inferior it is flattened, and two pubis attach and form the pubic symphysis, and this pubis bone forms the anterior margin of this operator foramen. Okay, this foramen is called operator foramen. Okay, along with this, pubis has a body and two roots. Okay, you can see here pubis has a body and two roots. One is superolateral root and one is inferolateral root. This superolateral root is called the superior ramus, and this inferolateral root is called inferior ramus. Okay, we'll we'll first study the body of the pubis. Okay, you can see here body has two borders, superior border, inferior border. This superior border of this pubis also called as pubic crust. Okay, so this part of superior border of pubis is called pubic crust, and this pubic crust limit laterally by a bony elevation. This elevation is called pubic tubercle. Okay, and you can see here we have a inferior border. Okay, and along with this, pubis has three surfaces. One is anterior surface, one is medial surface, and one is posterior surface. Anterior surface is directed forward and downward in anatomical position of hip bone, during the anatomical position of hip bone, and this pelvic surface or posterior surface of pubis which is directed backward and upward. And you can see here the medial surface. Medial surface is also called as symphysial surface. Okay, this medial surface attached with the pubic symphysis. Okay, then this one is superior ramus. So we'll talk about the superior ramus. Superior ramus, which start from the upper aspect of the pubis and go toward the ilium. Okay, so this superior ramus is also called as iliopubic ramus. Okay, and this superior ramus of pubis bone also form a upper border of this operator foramen. Okay, and along with this superior ramus has three border and three surfaces. Okay, you can see here this border of this superior ramus is called pectineal border or pecten pubis. Okay, this pectineal border or pecten pubis start from the medial part, and it continue as an arcuate line. Okay, and this pectineal part of the superior ramus also form a pectineal part of arcuate line. Okay, and you can see here on an anteriorly another border. You can see this border is called operator crust. or anterior border of the superior ramus. Then you can see here a inferior border. Okay, this one is called inferior border of the superior ramus. This inferior border is also called as here you can see here inferior border. This inferior border form a upper margin of this obturator foramen. Okay, along with this, superior ramus has three surfaces also. In between the anterior and superior border, we have a pectineal surface. Okay, between the superior or anterior, this surface is called pectineal surface. In between the anterior or inferior, this surface is called obturator surface, and in between the superior and this inferior surface, this surface is called pelvic surface. Okay, then you can see here another root which arises from this pubis here. This root is called inferior ramus of the pubis. Inferior ramus of the pubis is also called as ischiopubic ramus. Okay, and basically this inferior ramus of pubis unite with the ramus of the ischium and form the conjoint ischiopubic ramus. Okay, so this ramus is called conjoint ischiopubic ramus. Okay, because this ramus formed by pubic part and ischial part. Okay, now this is all about the bony feature of this pubic bone. Now we'll talk about the muscle attachment of the pubic bone. Okay, now we'll first you can see here we have a pubic tubercle. Okay, from this pubic tubercle, over this pubic tubercle, medial end of inguinal ligament is attached. Okay, in my previous video, I already told you the lateral end of inguinal ligament attached over this ASIS, and the medial end of this inguinal ligament which is attached over this pubic tubercle. Okay, now you can see here this crust is called as pubic crust. Okay, in the medial part of this pubic crust over here we have attachment of the rectus, medial head of the rectus abdominis muscle. From here we have attachment of medial head of the rectus abdominis muscle, and in the lateral end of this pubic crust has an attachment of the lateral head of the rectus abdominis and pyramidalis muscle. Over here we have attachment of lateral head of the rectus abdominis and pyramidalis muscle. Okay, now we'll talk about the muscle attachment over the anterior surface of the body of the pubis. Okay, we have this is a anterior surface of the body of the pubis. Okay, now first the anterior pubic ligament which is attached over the medial part of the anterior surface of the body of the pubis. From here we have attachment of anterior pubic ligament. Okay, and along with this here the adductor longus muscle which takes origin from the angle between the crest and pubic symphysis. From here we have an attachment of adductor longus muscle. Here we have attachment of adductor longus. Okay, now the gracilis muscle which takes origin from the margin of the symphysis and from the inferior ramus. Okay, just lateral to the adductor longus we have a somewhat here we have origin of the adductor longus, and here we have attachment of the gracilis muscle. Okay, just margin of the inferior ramus we have anterior margin of the inferior ramus we have attachment of gracilis muscle. Okay, and then the origin of the adductor brevis which is from here somewhat lateral to the origin of the adductor longus we have a origin of the adductor brevis. Okay, and then the obturator externus muscle which takes origin from the margin of the obturator foramen. From here we have attachment of the obturator externus muscle which takes origin from the margin of the obturator foramen. Okay, so first here we have attachment of adductor longus, then this portion here we have attachment of adductor brevis, then here we have attachment of the gracilis muscle, and over this margin of the obturator foramen we have attachment of the obturator externus muscle. Okay, so these all are the attachment over the anterior part of the body of the pubis. Okay, now we'll talk about the attachment provide the pectineal line. Okay, here we have a pectineal line. Okay, basically the superior border of the superior ramus of the pubis is called as pectineal line. Okay, the first the conjoint tendon which is attached over this medial line. Here we have an attachment of the conjoint tendon, and just anterior to this conjoint tendon we have attachment of the lacunar ligament. Somewhat here we have attachment of lacunar ligament, and this portion which is provide attachment of conjoint tendon. Okay, lacunar and conjoint. Okay, then this portion is called pectineal line, and pectineal line which is continue as a arcuate line, and just here we have attachment of a insertion of the psoas minor muscle. Somewhat here we have a insertion of the psoas minor muscle. Okay, and the upper part of the pectineal surface, basically this portion, upper part of the pectineal surface which is provide attachment of the pectineus muscle. Here we have attachment of pectineus muscle. Okay, this part provide attachment of pectineus muscle. Okay, now the pelvic surface, pectineus muscle, then we'll talk about the attachment over the pelvic surface of the body of the pubis. From the pelvic surface of the body of the pubis which is provide attachment of the levator ani muscle. From here we have attachment of levator ani muscle, and just lateral to the origin of this levator ani, or another word you can say just margin, inner margin of the obturator foramen, we have attachment of the obturator internus muscle. Somewhat here we have attachment of obturator internus muscle. Here we have attachment of levator ani muscle, then this portion which provide attachment of the obturator internus muscle. Okay, and this obturator foramen which provide passage for obturator nerve and the vessels. Okay, now this is all about the pubic bone. For the ischial part of the hip bone. Okay, ischium forms the posterior inferior part of hip bone, and it also forms a posterior boundary of this obturator foramen. Okay, and you can see here this ischium has two ends. It has upper end, lower end. Upper end which forms the lower 2/5 part of this acetabular, and the lower end of the ischium which is a massive, and it forms the ischial tubicity. Okay, along with this ischium has three border. You can see here the anterior border. This anterior border is sharp and form the posterior margin of this obturator foramen. Then you can see here it has posterior border which is continue as a posterior border of the ilium at the level of this spine. Okay, and then you can see here the lateral border which is situated lateral to this ischial spine. Along with this, ischium has three surfaces also. It has a lateral surface. This lateral surface situated in between this anterior border and lateral border. Lateral surface is also called as femoral surface. Okay, and you can see here this surface is called dorsal surface. This dorsal surface situated in between this lateral border and this lateral border and this posterior border. This dorsal surface is a rough, and this dorsal surface is a continuation of the gluteal surface of ilium. Okay, and you can see here on the dorsal surface, this dorsal surface is a massive large portion. This massive large portion is called the ischial spine. Then you can see here this surface is called pelvic surface or medial surface. This pelvic surface or medial surface situated in between the anterior border and posterior border. Pelvic surface or medial surface is smooth and concave. Okay, then along with this, ischium has a ramus. This ramus which unite with the ramus of the pubis or inferior ramus of the pubis and form the conjoined ischiopubic ramus. Okay, then when you see the this conjoined ischiopubic ramus, it has two borders. One is superior border, one is inferior border. This superior border is formed the inferior margin of this obturator foramen. Okay, and then it has three surfaces. One is lateral surface, outer surface, and one is medial surface or inner surfaces. Okay, then when you see the ischial tuberosity, you can see here this massive large portion is called ischial tuberosity. Okay, so ischial tuberosity is divided into a horizontal line. Okay, here this ischial tuberosity is divided into a horizontal line. Okay, this horizontal line divide ischial tuberosity into two parts, upper part and this lower part, and upper part also divided into a oblique line. Okay, this then upper part is also divided into superolateral portion and inferiolateral portion, inferiomedial portion, and this lower part of the ischial tuberosity is divided into a longitudinal line, and this longitudinal line divide the lower portion of ischial tuberosity into outer and inner portion. Okay, so this is a division of the ischial tuberosity. First, this ischial tuberosity into divided into a horizontal line into upper and the lower portion. Then upper portion they also divided into a oblique line into superolateral and inferiomedial portion. Then the lower portion divided into a longitudinal line into outer and inner part. Okay, so this is a division of the ischial spine. Now we'll talk about the attachment of the ischium. Okay, so attachment of the ischium is a bit complicated, so guys listen carefully. Okay, so first we'll talk about the attachment over the ischial spine. This ischial spine which provides attachment of the sacrospinous ligament. Just inferior to this ischial spine we have attachment of the origin of the superior gamellae and the inferior margin of this lesser notch which provide attachment of the inferior gamellae. Then some posterior fiber of the levator ani muscle which attach over this pelvic surface of the ischium. Then basically then we'll talk about the attachment over this ischial tuberosity. Okay, so I already told you ischial tuberosity is divided into four different parts. Upper portion divided into superolateral, inferiomedial, lower portion is divided into outer part and inner part. First, the superolateral area which provide origin of the semi-membranous muscle. From here we have a origin of the semi-membranous muscle. Then the inferiomedial area, from here we have attachment of the semitendinous and the long head of the biceps femoris. Okay, this portion which provide attachment of the semi-membranous and long head of the biceps femoris. Then the outer lower area, from here we have attachment of the outer lower area which provide attachment of the adductor magnus muscle. This inner lower area is covered with the fibrofatty tissue and bursa which support body weight in the sitting position. Then you can see here we have a sharp medial margin of tuberosity. Okay, this sharp medial margin of tuberosity give attachment to the sacrotuberous ligament. And the lateral border of the ischial tuberosity, here we have a lateral border of the ischial tuberosity. this lateral border of the ischial tuberosity which provide attachment of the ischiofemoral ligament. Okay, then you can see here this greater part of the pelvic surface which provide attachment of the obturator internus muscle. Okay, then we'll talk about the attachment over the conjoint ischiopubic ramus. Okay, first you can see here we have a conjoint ischiopubic ramus has a outer and inner surfaces. Then outer lower border which provide attachment of the fascia lata and the membranous layer of superficial fascia or Colles fascia of perineum. The muscle taking origin from the outer surface are obturator externus from this portion. Okay, in between this fascia, obturator externus, obturator brevis, which is chiefly arises from this pubis ramus, then the gracilis and the obturator magnus. These all are chiefly arises from this pubic part of this conjoint ischiopubic ramus. Then the inner surface, then the attachment over the inner surface are first the perineal membrane is attached to the lower ridge. From here we have an attachment of perineal membrane. Okay, along with this the upper area which give origin of the obturator internus muscle. From here we have an attachment of obturator internus muscle. Then the middle area which give origin to the deep transverse perineal muscle. Okay, then this middle area also related to the dorsal nerve of penis and the internal pudendal vessels. Okay, now this is all about the bony feature and muscle attachment of the pubis and ischium. I hope you all are understood the topic. Thank you very much.